Hi everyone, and thank you for being a part of the membership. Today I wanted to look at lead foot position and the relationship between that lead foot position, how we move around, or how we could move around the lead hip through the shot. So how a player moves around the lead hip is something that I'll pay very close attention to, because if the control and the movement is not there that we're looking for, the player is often going to make an adjustment moving into impact. So what we want is for a player to be able to move through the shot, be able to continually move with speed and get into a balanced finish. So I like with players to be quite intuitive with how we do that. In many cases, we can do exercises away from the ball to help the player to build an understanding of what it feels like to move around that lead hip and then move it into the golf swing. But a very simple one here I'm going to use today is if we were to set up and put our hands across our shoulder and then just kind of move our left foot back here, is that if we were to step with the right foot, then with the left foot, and then turn through, that's the sensation we want around that lead hip. And you can get a sense of how, really how simple that could feel. So sets up again, we're going to move into the right foot, step with the left foot, and then move through. Why I love this little exercise, as simple as it may be, is because when we move into the right side, it gets our upper body turning behind the ball, which is what we want at the top of backswing. And why that's so important for the lead hip is with the upper body behind the ball here, the mass of the body is more over the trail side. So that allows the lead hip to move really nicely as it moves into the start of the downswing and when we start a transition. So step to the right, step to the left, then move through. The timing is exactly as I'm doing here. So it's almost step, turn, step, turn, step, turn, step, turn. Like that. Sometimes the words take away from the visual sometimes, but I would go more off the visual of what I'm doing here, and you'll see I'm not actually stepping with force. I'm just doing it quite, in good timing, good rhythm, being quite light. But then start tying into how would that feel as I'm moving into impact with that lead hip. And what you often see with players as well when they do this drill is to get the nice glide through, they'll start positioning their lead foot in a way that makes it easy to get through. And I found myself that when I do this and I get through it in what feels like a really nice way, or gets me into a really good impact position, my foot is flared this amount, and then I started to work towards keeping that amount in my setup. The only thing to consider with foot flaring setup, if you were say extreme amount this way, is it's then going to take a lot of external rotation in the lead hip to get to the top of your backswing if you're extreme that way, which you may have. Obviously, everyone's different, and in the hips I've seen players from huge amounts of internal without much external to players that have a huge amount of external and not much internal. So it's really valuable to know what you could have there as far as options, and then we learn to use that in a certain way in the golf swing. But great little exercise, play around with it there, find your foot position. Once you've found your foot position, let's build that into your setup. So I would be more kind of here, flared out like that, little bit of foot flare on the right. In fact, I think I need to shoot a video for the right foot flare, because that's quite different, the considerations, because it's obviously more backswing. But I found that right around there in my lead foot, it optimizes. I can still get to where I want in the backswing, but then on the way down, I don't have to adjust as much to get into impact and through the shot.